Okay, perfect. Well, welcome all. I'm Andres, and this is my team, Veronica, Alex, Samantha, and Andres. And as you might see it in the title, we're going to dive into the biggest online payment provider in the world, which is PayPal. And in order to understand their success, we have to jump back to 1998 to understand the context and the importance of having a speed of action at the time of deciding how to create a company. So yeah, in that year, Max Levchin, this guy over here, decided to create a company with his team called Confinity. That's the previous PayPal. And his idea, same concept as this, but they wanted to implement it via Field Link. It was the service into PDAs, which were personal digital assistants, like a previous version to smartphones. What was the problem of that service is that not many people had it. So the market was actually quite small, and the service ended up failing. However, they managed to translate that service to emails, to email addresses. And what happens here is that everyone has one. So everyone could have access to the service. And yeah, as you might imagine, it actually widespreaded. And they targeted a broader market, and it was quite successful. In the meantime here, another company was being created, which was eBay. And what happens here is that eBay, even though it was successful, they had one problem, and they were lacking online payment service. So PayPal noticed that. And what did they do? They teamed up with eBay and became the official online payment provider. So that actually grew PayPal and eBay to the sky. They rocketed, and it was really successful, and revenues and everything went up. Then we can see that in the year 2000, PayPal actually merged with one of the biggest competitors, X.com, which was owned by Elon Musk, as you might see. And yeah, it's a really interesting history. However, I'm not going to dig into that. But they teamed up, and with all those resources, they actually managed to sail through the storm of the dot-com bubble crash. So they ended up keeping their high position in the market and continued growing. What happened then is that eBay, they wanted to create their own online payment service, but they were failing because PayPal was so big that they couldn't compete against it. So what was the solution that they found? They ended up purchasing PayPal, for $1.5 billion. As you might have seen, the other companies that people have mentioned, for example, Supercell, like 80% of it was bought for $10 billion. This was only 1.5. So that was actually a great of a deal for eBay. After the years, they went by. The PayPal mafia was dissolved after this purchase, and they continued growing and growing to the point that they are actually available now in more than 200 countries, and they hold transactions with 26 different currencies. So in order to actually understand how this worked and all this process, my partners are going to dig into the key values that they must follow in order to get here. So thank you.
Now we have reviewed the company's historical evolution. We should get a little deeper on PayPal's value proposition, which is the strategy the business follows in order to optimally configure its offer to then being able to maximize the demand. So PayPal has three pivotal aspects which highly influence the company's services. The first one is security, and it seems logical since as users are carrying out financial transactions through a third party and then adding an extra step in the payment process, it is essential to transmit a solid sense of confidence. So for that, the company has a risk management system that prevents illegal operations from happening. Then related to the former, we have convenience, which basically means PayPal aims to simplify customers' lives by shortening online payment procedures. And then one of the biggest differentiators of this company is the lack of setup fees, which involves that anyone with an internet connection may create an account and become PayPal's client for free. So having said that, now it's time for us to introduce you the most prominent success factors that drove PayPal to become the largest payment provider, especially stressing the 4 key values we have been working on these past weeks. So the first success element would be related to market segmentation, and we have linked it to speed, since as you will find out in a moment, PayPal has appropriately adapted its services to its customer requirements. So PayPal has two independent customer segments. On one hand, individuals, and then businesses. And since each group has its own needs, PayPal offers different applications and account types in order to satisfy every user. So regarding individuals, the PayPal application allows them to make online payments without being charged for it. And they can also make donations and transfer money to bank accounts and manage their bank information. Then concerning businesses, they are allowed to send invoices as well as managing their customers' information and sending money to bank accounts as well. So they will be charged a fee or another depending on the operation they are performing.
Okay, so now talking about one of the most important success factors for PayPal is the part of dividends and R&D policies. Incredible thing is that PayPal does not pay dividends to its shareholders. The thing is that all of this money is invested on their R&D departments, and these departments actually focus on developing new technologies and also focusing on researching some information about topics such as fraud detection, identity verification, and many others. But the thing is that by having this, by investing all of this money into their R&D departments, PayPal encourages their employees to actually be open to share their ideas, to innovate, and this is highly related with the openness key value of success. Moreover, PayPal invested $2.09 billion in 2019 for their R&D department, and the thing is that this was 8% of their total annual revenues, which is a lot of money, but that investment allowed them to be on the top of the market. Okay, so now I'm going to mention the service model of PayPal. So the majority of the services that PayPal offers are related to online payments. And a clear example is the fact that PayPal accepts debit and credit card payments that are easy to make. In this case, the users only need their email address and the email address of the recipient. So right now, PayPal is implementing a new service model that is called Buy Now, Pay Later. In this case, PayPal allows their users to actually have 4 installments, 4 payment installments, and they're made one each 2 weeks, and it's interest-free. So by this, they're actually getting new customers because people were like, okay, so I don't want to invest in that project, I don't want to buy that product because it's very expensive, so now I can pay it through different installments, and PayPal is not going to charge me any commission fee. So moreover, in order to have more impact into the world, PayPal right now has accepted 26 different currencies for making all of the transactions. And of course, this is kind of related also with the speed because they must satisfy the needs of the market. And if they want to be in the globalized market, they shall have the mediums and the requirements to fulfill that. And at last, there's a recent event, and that PayPal right now is accepting cryptocurrencies in the USA. And of course, this is related with the fact of speed because cryptocurrencies are a rising need. And nowadays, it is very important to have access to pay with Bitcoins, Ethereum, Litecoins, and many cryptocurrencies. So that is basically what the service model of PayPal is. And now, Alex is going to continue with the presentation.
So PayPal is led by smart professionals who understand that in order to gain customers, they need to be open to working with other tech giants, even if that means that they have to collaborate with their competition. As of right now, they're collaborating with MasterCard and Visa. If someone has a MasterCard or a Visa debit card, they could still require PayPal's services, despite the fact that both of those companies actually have their own online payment applications. So imagine three companies offering the same service, yet only one of them is able to take advantage of the other 2 companies' customers. Other collaborations come as a result of PayPal's ability to offer comfort to users. So for this reason, Facebook Messenger and Uber have implemented PayPal within their application so as to improve the speed at which transactions happen within the applications. By doing this, PayPal is getting access to markets who have more than 100 million users every single month, which is absolutely astonishing. When it comes to knowledge management, PayPal is a company who has basically seen the internet evolve right in front of their eyes. So they understand perfectly that in order to survive for so long, they need to share their knowledge with their employees. A way in which they show their openness to this idea is by training their employees on an e-learning platform which gives them access to virtually everything they know. Another example would be the programming department, which is based on InnerSource. InnerSource is this thing in which programmers share their code, their open source code within the company, so that other developers can have access to it and maybe improve its efficiency. But none of this would have been possible without autonomy. And as Mark Brito, the CPO of the company, says, PayPal values the importance of providing employees with autonomy so as to improve the innovation within the company.
Okay, so to talk a little bit more about the curious facts about PayPal, we have the term PayPal Mafia. This term is used to describe the 6 people that created this company. Between these brilliant minds, we have Elon Musk, we have Jeff Hoffman, the creator of LinkedIn, the creator of YouTube, etc. They're also accountable for the creation of the promotion method called referral incentive method, which nowadays a lot of companies use. Regarding some stats, we have a study that showed that the 87% of people who buy online prefer to use PayPal as an online payment method rather than any other digital wallets. This shows that PayPal is the leader in this market. And regarding the monetary impact that this company has, we can mention one of the biggest mistakes that they made in 2013 by providing this huge amount to a random guy called Chris Reynolds, and they made him one of the richest men alive for a split moment. So now that we have talked about the whole history and the whole success of PayPal, we want to talk about their future. Starting in 2020 with the explosion of the cryptocurrencies that created a new way of payment method. And with that, a whole new monetary system. PayPal saw this opportunity and acquired Paxos. Paxos allows all the users to buy, sell, and own cryptocurrencies. The only problem is that nowadays this system is only available in the United States, but their objective is to make it worldwide available. And finally, one of the biggest objectives in the future is the Chinese market, because they're making 2 movements right now. First, they acquire a company called GoPay that allows them to make easier transactions in the foreign system. And they partnered up with the China company called UnionPay that nowadays is one of the biggest card systems that China has. So these 2 movements created the opportunity to enter the Chinese market, and now they're the only foreign online payment method allowed in China to buy online. This is a completely success for PayPal because now they do not only have a new customer segment, but they also have a new source, a revenue source that any of the other competitors has. So to conclude this presentation, we want to say that in order to create a successful company, you don't need to have genius minds like the PayPal Mafia. What you really need is to have principles and rock solid values where you can found your company, and no matter who runs it, it will not change the direction of successful that your company deserves, like it happened with PayPal. Thank you.